Quest 3 games aren't just improving, they're evolving. We're now seeing full-length, in-depth experiences that show what's truly possible on standalone VR. And this one, it might just be one of my favorite Quest 3 games of all time. This is not a review though, it's a look at where Quest 3 gaming has arrived. Because games like this show we're finally hitting that next-gen feeling. Not just in visuals, but in design, scale, and just how good it feels to play. And of course, I'm talking about Arcane Age. Full transparency, this video is sponsored by the team behind Arcane Age. But I was already planning to actually make this video before that, and have been playing it for quite some time, because I genuinely think this is one of the best Quest 3 experiences that I have played, and it's a glimpse of where things are actually headed. We're now truly in a Quest 3 era. The Quest 2 era was great for what it was, small-scale adventures, limited visuals, and short campaigns, but we've officially moved past all of that. Games are getting bigger, deeper, and smarter, and Arcane Age is a perfect example of that shift. To be clear, this is not about raw visuals. There's no dynamic lighting or ultra-realistic shadows in Arcane Age, but the art direction and scale are what make it stand out. Massive open environments, layered vertical spaces, distant vistas that you can see far away, all running smoothly on the Quest 3, and looking great for standalone, and I think that's exactly the point. You see, this game was originally a PSVR 2 and PC VR game, and this is probably the best raw port that I've seen of a game from a higher-end platform. Yes, obviously they had to tone the visuals back because it looks fantastic on PSVR 2, but for standalone, it looks pretty darn amazing on Quest 3 too. Especially when you take into consideration the full scale of these environments, the explorability, the enemies, the physics-based combat, all of that brought with 100% parity from all the other platforms down to a standalone headset running smooth as butter. Now, this is a warning I always give when I do recordings and I say smooth as butter. You're probably seeing some hiccups, maybe some black on the edges of the screen as I turn my head. That always happens when you're recording in headset and you're playing a game, especially if there is a game that is really using the power of the Quest 3. So keep in mind that recording can cause frame drops and it can cause issues with video recordings. Generally speaking, you don't see that even in headset. This game runs incredibly well without recording. But if it's not about the raw visuals, then what makes this game stand out? That would be the gameplay depth. This is really where the game starts to shine. It's actually long. It's around like 12 hours to complete the campaign, probably closer to 15 if you're really trying to find everything and explore. Speaking of exploring, it's full of secrets, upgrades, and side paths, which is one of the things that makes this game stand out as a true full-scale experience. It's something that not many games do on the Quest, and I'm seeing more games do it, but Arcane Age really pulls it off well. You've got 3 primary weapons, and each of those primary weapons all have upgrade paths that you can change and adjust the different pieces of the weapons, whether it's a stock, whether it's a new barrel that changes what you're shooting, you're adding a bow to the end of it, you're changing your sword into an axe. There's so much upgrade for your weapons in this that it's almost overwhelming. And you can adjust at the different stations throughout to change your battle style based on the environment that you're in or the enemies that you're going to be facing, whether you're facing the lower level regular grunt type of characters or you're battling against a boss or against some of the larger tank type of enemies you'll be facing. And we'll talk more about enemies and combat in just a second, but one of the coolest parts about this game is the fact that you can actually customize the paint on your weapons. So you can spray paint them whatever you want. I decided to go with this crazy bright Nerf style weaponry, as you can see in the video footage, but you can paint it whatever you want. You can even paint the glow a different color. I love the customization in this game. It's really crazy. There are side paths to collect different collectibles. There's targets that you have to shoot, these pyramid type targets that you have to find everywhere to destroy them. There's audio recordings and notes to find. There's a whole in-depth story. This game creates a living and breathing place. And that again really sells this game as being something totally unique and different on the Quest 3. It's a living, breathing world with lots of enemies and lots of characters and a whole backdrop and story. Now remember, I'm not trying to do this as a review. I'm trying to illustrate the strength of this game and how it shows the positioning of the Quest 3 and what's actually possible on the Quest 3. The weapons upgrades gives you an actual real reason to want to explore the entire environment, because you can find upgrades and points and all that stuff to actually upgrade stuff. But while you're exploring, you're going to be experiencing one of the best parts about this game, and that is the combat. It's physics-based combat that feels very polished on the Quest 3. Whether you're blocking with your sword or axe, if that's what you're using once you've upgraded, or you're firing a shot from long distance with a sniper rifle, or you're running in screaming with your sidearm and your blade flashing, there's different ways that you can approach combat in this game, and they all feel really good. It adapts to your gameplay style, and there's dismemberment. There's even actually an option to turn off the gore, which I thought was a really unique thing because it allowed my son to watch. He doesn't like the gore stuff. It allowed him to watch me play, which was really cool. But the combat specifically feels really nice. It's weighty, it's satisfying, and it's extremely polished. Now, when it comes to the environments and how you traverse them, this is another aspect of the game that I think is really cool. You can climb a lot of things. You flick your wrists up and then hit the grab button on both hands, and you get these climbing picks. And you can climb trees, and it'll have you doing puzzles and climbing all over the place. So this game isn't just a hack and slash. There's puzzles in this game, there's combat, but there's also exploration and climbing, and there's a lot of aspects to this game. This is why I'm saying it's so strong, because it's just, there's a lot to it. Every encounter in this game truly feels deliberate, and you can tell that the devs didn't just port something over to bring it over to Quest. It's truly been rebuilt to work on the Quest 3 because of how smooth and the parity between the two games. You can tell it's kind of a labor of love. And the part that really blows my mind about this is that this is an indie team. This is not a AAA studio with hundreds of people. It's a small group that actually built something that feels that big. And it's kind of proof that indie VR development is evolving too. That smaller studios can now deliver full-scale adventures that can stand toe-to-toe with some of the console experiences. That is exciting to me because the Quest 3 is now showing that even indie developers can bring us games that will be long, highly polished, and extremely fun to play. And that's the real story here. The bar for what's possible on the Quest 3 keeps getting higher and higher. You see, this isn't just about one game. It's about what we're seeing happen across the board. Games like Arcane Age prove that the Quest 3 hardware can handle bigger stories, larger maps, and deeper gameplay, and that devs are starting to use that power. Standalone VR doesn't have to mean limited VR anymore, and Arcane Age really proves that. And the key, I think, is the care and time that the developers put into doing their games. And we're seeing a lot of that, and we really see that in Arcane Age. In my opinion, we're really reaching a turning point for the Quest 3. Even indie developers, like the developers of Arcane Age, are delivering games with real depth, scale, and gameplay that lasts. And that is what excites me. Not just one great game, but what it means for everything coming next. If you own a Quest 3, Arcane Age is what we should be expecting moving forward for Quest 3 games. This is what the future of standalone VR can look like if teams like the team behind Arcane Age put their care and time into products like this game. Personally, I think the Quest 3 is in a great position right now with lots of amazing games, and Arcane Age is right at the top of that list. There's a link down in the description if you want to check out the game. Let me know what you think down in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts if you've played the game on another platform. Maybe after you've played the game, come back and comment down below what you think. I'd love to know what your thoughts are on this game. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up so that more people can see it, and subscribe for more videos. And as always, happy questing.